What's going on, my fellow Avengers? This your boy Trini Hulk, and welcome to the channel. So today, man, we're gonna get into another episode of Spooky Scary Stories. You know what I'm saying? If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe in the comments and comment below. Support your boy. I'm over here seeing y'all watching me, and I don't see anybody subscribing. I hear people here and there showing love, subscribing, liking the videos, but would it do us the best to build this channel as a family, as an Avenger family, my fellow Avengers? You gotta subscribe to your boy, like, hit the bell notification, and comment below. Let me know what y'all think. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Yes, sir. Story number 1, baby. Let's start and play this. Blah.
There was an old abandoned building near my house. Typical, I know. Anyways, there were hundreds of rumors and stories about this building. Some normal, some insanely out of this world. Some used to say an insane maniac lived in there and tortured anyone who entered. I've even heard that it's a portal to another dimension where nightmares come to life. The only consistent bit of knowledge was that whoever went in never came back. My best friend Samuel and I were huge enthusiasts when it came to anything supernatural or even remotely strange, so we decided to check it out. Since the latest disappearances, cops have been patrolling the area during the day, trying to prevent any...
Listen, people, listen. Let me pause this video real quick. Let me pause this video real quick. You will never catch a black man going into an abandoned building, especially if you hear stories about some weird stuff, some freaky stuff going on in there. You ain't gonna catch no black man going in there, bruh. Hell nah. This is some Caucasian, white, Blanco type of crap, man. What the frick is this? I don't know what to say to y'all. But with that being said, let's get back to the video.
Anyone from getting in, so we had to wait till night. At about 10:30, he came over to start preparing the gear. We made sure to pack some food, warm clothes, and my handgun.
All right. Let me pause this again. First of all, did y'all get y'all snacks? I hope y'all got your snacks. You know, get you a little Freezy Pop or a bag of Doritos and wash it down with a grape Fanta. Yes, sir. All right, let's get back to the video.
In case there was a homicidal maniac living there. We left the house around 11:30 to 12ish and arrived at the building a couple of minutes later. The second we step out of the car, I noticed an unusual eerie fog surrounding the building. Seeing that it was wintertime, the fog wasn't new to the area, so I didn't think much of it at the time, other than it was extremely thick. We grabbed our gear and headed inside. The door was locked,
what y'all doing,
so we had to
man?
break a window.
Y'all got some flashlights, man.
We threw our stuff in, then climbed into the building. The worst mistake of my life.
Y'all crazy.
If I could go back in time, I would have never stepped foot in that hellhole.
Oh, hell!
The first thing I noticed inside was how abnormally dark
that don't look too spooky for me.
Though we had LED flashlights,
y'all crazy.
They didn't do much help seeing in front of us. We had about 3 feet range of vision, but we decided to explore anyways. Samuel was holding the camera and switched to night vision, but even that didn't do much good.
Boy, you got.
I was holding the flashlight.
What you doing with
and
that
had
little
my hand
baby?
close to my gun.
Oh, my boy got the
in case
hammer.
some deranged psychopath attacked from the darkness. As we reached.
Hey, yo, my boy got the hammer. He got the toaster on deck. All right. But y'all gonna need 2 of those joints. What if y'all get lost and only one of y'all got the hammer? The other sucker is assed out. All right, let's get back to the video.
Reached the center of the building. I noticed a smell. Not a nice smell. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It had a metallic tinge to it and slightly.
Hey, come on.
Slightly burnt my nose with each inhale. What's that smell? I don't know. It's hard to guess. We followed a long stretch of hallway that led to an open area. The big wall of that room was a huge hole that created a direct entrance into the house from the woods. Vines and saplings were growing all over the floor, ceilings, and walls as well. For a moment, I felt like we had stepped into a wildlife sanatorium. As I flashed my LED light on the hole in the wall, my eyes started getting blurry and my hands started shaking.
Boy,
The flashlight started flickering. Samuel tripped over something and the camera flew out of his
Y'all better
hand.
get up out of
It slid a
boy.
couple of feet, then fell somewhere in the
Crazy
room,
asses.
shattering into pieces. We knew it was beyond broken, so we didn't even bother trying to get it. We turned the flashlight to the ground to try and figure out what Samuel had tripped over. As the light showed the ground, my heart stopped in fear. A dead deer was lying on the floor. It was torn apart. The body had been chewed on, clawed at, and ripped up.
All right, that's it, bro. If I see a carcass, a dead animal, that joint look like it got, I don't know, blended up and chewed up and spit out like, puh. Bruh, if I see some, bro, we out. I'm not staying. I'm not even gonna look no more. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm out. Frick this.
Up. Blood was all over the floor.
Ugh.
I immediately recognized the smell. So, it was blood all this time, but the smell was too pungent to have been from one deer. Taking a closer look at the floor, I noticed the blood is smeared all over the floor. Not only that, there were prints in the blood, almost like hands, but the fingers were
bro.
too long. By long,
I'll be out.
I mean almost
I'll
a
be
foot
out.
in length.
Frick that.
And they were pointed at the tip, almost like talons. The prints were everywhere, on the floor, on the walls, and even a few on the ceiling.
Nah,
Oh my
bruh.
God, is this some kind of animal? I strongly believe we shouldn't be here, man. Yeah, but don't you want to know? Saying this, Samuel started to follow those freaky handprints. The prints all seemed
Hey, yo, y'all Caucasians is too damn curious, bruh. Boy, if I see that and I see blood on the ceiling, like how the hell did the handprint get on the ceiling, bruh? I'm like, you know what? I'm out. Frick this.
to lead to one room. The door to the room was barely hinged, and the knob was completely torn off. My heart was racing. What the hell is in there? No animal could have done this. No living creature had prints like this. Shh, keep quiet. Samuel was confused by curiosity, and before I could stop him, Samuel
Y'all
pushed the
Caucasians
door
is too
open.
damn curious for me, man.
What we saw still haunts me to this day. Piles and piles of bodies,
Yo!
some still intact,
Yo!
dismembered beyond recognition.
Nah, bro, we out. I'm
Some
out.
animal parts were
Uh-uh.
unmistakably human. The
This-
blood on
yo,
the
these
floor
suckers
was
is
about
crazy.
an inch high.
Oh,
There were the
hell
same
no.
prints on the wall and the ceiling. Suddenly, we heard footsteps inside the room, and I realized we weren't the only ones.
Get out!
Did you hear that? Someone behind us? No, I think it's above us. My heart sunk
What?
right at that point. Samuel was right. With shaking hands, we both flashed our lights to the ceiling and froze in terror. A man
Yo!
was crawling on the ceiling,
Yo!
except he looked too disfigured
What
to
is
be called
that?
a man. His head was bigger than his
Yo!
body, and he had long, pointy fingers that pointed into
Yo, y'all
sharp
better-
claws. The creature had no
Yo, y'all just standing there watching this joint. Yo, run! Run for your life. You see them teeth? You see them goddamn teeth over here? Y'all suckers better run.
skin, and we could see its veins and muscles popping out like a nightmare. The scariest part was his eyes. There was
they got
no pupil in them,
pimples? What are
just
those,
red,
warts?
plain eyeballs. The creature let out a demonic scream,
no.
opening its huge mouth, and we ran for our lives, screaming like hell.
You got a gun, bro.
We
You
could
better
hear
stop
the running
clapping and
footsteps
running.
of the creature behind us.
Bro, you got a gun, boy. You better stop clapping and running, my boy. I'll be clapping and running. Frick that.
Whatever it was hungry for our blood. Run, Chris, run! I was about to jump out of that broken window when I heard Samuel scream. I turned around and saw that devil had grasped him by
Yo,
the neck.
shoot him!
It looked at me
Shoot it!
and smiled, showing its huge teeth.
Shoot it!
Samuel dangled into the air as the creature held him above the ground, and before I could do anything, it snapped my friend's neck like a twig. Saliva dripped from its ugly, horrifying mouth as it started to devour him. I couldn't wait anymore because I knew he would come for me once he is done with Samuel.
Yo! This thing just straight up bit his head off, P. Yo! That's crazy, nah.
I ran home and stormed into my parents' bedroom, covered in sweat and tears. I told them everything that happened, and they called 911.
Hey, hold on. Did y'all see the parents? And the parents looked like they was just getting jiggy with it, and the homer just busted in the door. The parents was making him a baby brother and sister, boy. And he just said, "Blah! Money! Daddy!" That's crazy. Alright, let's get back to the video, man. Show my stupid self up.
Cops came and called for backup once they discovered all those bodies and the bloody scene inside the house.
Oh,
Samuel was never found, and out of agony, locals burnt the house to the ground. The cops ruled Samuel's case under the missing persons category, and no one believed me when I told them about this creature. A few years after this incident, I found out shocking information about that place. It is said that many years ago, during the time of the Russian sleep experiment, something similar was conducted in that house. It happened to be a prison for refugee criminals. I don't know if what I saw was real or not, but I'm definite some twisted science experiment created this creature that still lurks in those woods behind our house.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also,
That being curious is good.
listen, people, man. None of this would have ever happened if homie never listened to that Caucasian boy. See, y'all white folks, some, not all, some of y'all white folks is too damn curious for me, bro. Nah, for real, man. Some of y'all are too curious, man. Bro, if it don't feel right, why go and put yourself in that position? Now, homie got his whole head torn off his torso, off his shoulder, and now he gone. Now you're a missing person, and they don't even believe the black guy that homie got his head bit off, or there's a monster. But if that was the other way around, they're like, "Oh my God, let's go kill that beast." All right. Story number 2.
Good or bad. After that day, I know where the saying "curiosity killed the cat" comes from. I was in high school when this happened. One day, I discovered that not far from my house, there was an abandoned building. Recently, it had become popular among the students to go to abandoned places and
What's up
explore
with y'all
them.
kids in these abandoned
Besides,
places, man?
I thought that later I would have an
Not
interesting
me.
story to tell
Hell
that
no.
would make me look like a cool person. Excited, I told my friends, Ethan, Christopher, and Matthew,
Y'all
and tried to convince them to go with
Not
me.
me.
At
Hell
first,
no.
Ethan didn't want to come with us, but finally he agreed. Perhaps he didn't want to miss out on that experience. Anyway, we agreed to go the next day after classes ended. Walking to the place was a bit tiring, as the building was quite deep in the forest, but we managed to get there after a half an hour. The place left us speechless. It was a pretty big building. The walls were dirty, covered in graffiti and plants. Most of the windows were broken, though that didn't help us see what was inside. After a few seconds, we approached the stairs. The front door was open and somewhat broken, so we could get in through there. We had to make our way up the stairs, as there was rubble along with the dirt and dust. So, the 4 of us stood still once we were at the door of the building. Go first, Steve. It was your idea. You're not scared, are you? Of course I was. At least a little. Now that we were there, I felt less excited, but I refused to admit it, so I went inside. Everything looked as expected. There wasn't much furniture, and what was still there was useless.
Y'all see this name on the wall, bro? This word on the wall, kill? Boy, as soon as I see that, I'm turning back around. I ain't going in deeper. Hell no.
Broken and full of mold. There was also graffiti drawn on the walls and floors, almost all of which were obscene words or drawings. At another time, I would have found it funny, but not right now. Suddenly, there was a loud noise behind us. The door had been closed with great force, which startled us. Ethan, Matthew, and I looked at our friend, the last to enter, with annoyance. What? It was just a little joke. Once we inspected the entrance, we went to the other rooms. In all of them, there seemed to be exactly the same thing as the previous ones, which quickly bored me. For some reason, I expected there to be something more interesting in this place. It was actually quite simple, but perhaps I had judged the building too quickly. My heart started beating fast when I saw Ethan walk into the room at the end of the hall and stand still.
Y'all too curious,
The expression of fear and confusion
Y'all
on
too
his
curious.
face was unsettling.
For your own good.
Quickly, the rest of us approached. "Go away" was written on one of the walls in red. The paint
Boy,
was very
listen.
shiny, as if it were fresh.
If I see that, I'm out,
Suddenly,
bro. I'm telling you,
Christopher
man.
started
The
laughing.
first one word, kill, I'm out.
You see your faces?
Now it's
You
just
guys
go
are
away, I'm
seriously
out.
scared? Our friend walked over to the letters and touched them. Then he showed us his hand, which was dry. Some asshole painted it to scare people. See? You guys are a joke. It was pretty obvious, actually. But being in a place like this, with such a mysterious
That man is not black. That man is not black.
atmosphere and abandoned appearance made you paranoid. Still, we soon started to feel comfortable and began to split up to explore. I was the first one who decided to go up to the second floor. From the moment I put one of my feet on that floor, an awful smell reached my nose. It was like something was rotting, which gave me goosebumps. What more could there be than a body? More out of morbidity and curiosity than anything else, I followed the stench, which seemed to come from the second room. I slowly poked my head into the room. Seconds later, I felt vomit in my throat, wanted to come out. There was a dead animal on the spot. Perhaps it was a cat, or perhaps a small dog.
Hell no. Story number 2 got a dead animal on the ground too. Ugh, it's not even blood. That looked like piss. That animal pissed on itself before it died.
The truth was that it was in a state of decomposition, in which it was very difficult to distinguish what it was. It wasn't human, but it was very horrible to see. The worst thing, in fact, was that it had no eyes, just 2 black holes in what had once been its face.
Damn.
Ugh! I tried very hard not to vomit. Having my mouth stink of acid and food wouldn't be nice on the way
You
home.
better get up out of there,
Suddenly,
boy.
I heard a sound behind me.
You better
coming
get
from
up
the
out
first
of
room.
there.
Ugh, Chris, stop it. I was already
That ain't
tired
Chris.
of Christopher's jokes.
You better
I
get up
couldn't
out of
believe he
there.
kept trying to scare us like that.
Yo,
When I heard the sound again,
bro,
I was
run.
finally furious.
Don't even look
Chris,
see what it
enough
is, bro.
already. Stop
Run.
it.
Run.
I quickly approached the first room in the hall. The fury I felt was replaced by fear as soon as I saw what was inside. "I told you to go away" could be seen on the wall this time. I thought it was another joke,
These boys are
of
gone,
course,
man.
but then I couldn't see the paint dripping off the letters. This time, it was fresh. I stood there a few seconds, breathless, frozen, until I was able to react. "Guys!" I ran down the stairs while screaming. Soon the others, alerted, arrived. "We gotta..." Just when I was going to tell them to get out of there, we started to hear some voices outside the building. One of them shouted that we shouldn't be there. The other then yelled for us to go away. Perhaps it was the police. We all
suckers
looked
better
scared
get
at each
out of
other,
here, man.
except Matthew, who made a sign with his hand for us to follow him. As
You
quietly
suckers
as
better
possible,
Run.
we walked to a room at the back of the building. We managed to close the door, which thankfully wasn't broken, and looked around.
Do you love Gantt charts? Here's how easily you can build one in ClickUp.
On the room.
Hey, yo, people, man. I'm gonna just put this right now. I don't have an editor. I am currently learning and working with a couple of editing programs to make these videos a little more entertaining. So work with me, bear with me, Avengers. Bear with me, my fellow Avengers. Let's continue to the video.
Apparently, this one had another door that seemed like an exit, since it was closed. Matthew's plan was for me to open it, since I had a certain skill at doing that. Not because I used it, but because it entertained me. I took out a small piece of metal that I had brought just in case and started. Quick, quick! I'm on it. It was taking me longer than usual because, apart from being nervous and under pressure, I had the strange feeling that something behind the door was watching me. Almost. The door finally gave way. I started to open it when I was able to notice that the air inside was dense. It wasn't a way out. Go away!
Yo!
A scream went out from the room when we were able to see what was inside. Terrified, I walked backwards, but tripped and fell to the ground.
You shouldn't be here. Escape.
In that small room, which did not even have windows, there were two corpses that at this point were nothing more than bones. Still, it was obvious that these were people. Terrified, the four of us ran out of that room.
Run, huh?
We didn't care if the police were outside. We just did it. But as we ran to the entrance, it began to tremble. The walls started shaking. The rubble began to fall. One of them hit my arm, but I kept going, despite everything. Luckily, we got away with just a few bumps and scratches. To our surprise, no one else was around. In the end, we decided to inform the police, despite everything. Inspecting the scene and the bones, they discovered that they belonged to a young woman who had disappeared a long time ago and a man who had escaped from prison.
Jeez.
Since there were only bones left, they couldn't figure out exactly what had happened, but there were theories based on some evidence.
Ghosts?
There was a chain on the wall.
There was a woman's voice
and
and
the
a
door
dude's
was
voice.
full of scratches. There
So
were
there
also
was ghosts.
traces of some very old blood on the floor. The conclusion was that the man had kidnapped her, perhaps to torture or rape her. Somehow, the woman would have managed to hurt him, but during the fight, she was also seriously injured. In her state, she couldn't open the door and died. Meanwhile, all I could think about was what the voices said that day. Go away, and you shouldn't be here. Escape. Perhaps the man didn't want us to discover his crime, like the cowardly rat that he was. And I'd like to think that maybe the young woman wanted to protect us.
My name.
Yo, B. Those were ghosts, bro. Those were freaking ghosts. How you heard a female and a dude's voice, bro? Those were ghosts. With that being said, here's story number 3.
My name is Adam, and I'm a paranormal investigator.
Oh, okay.
Along with friends, Elsa and Derek, we started a YouTube channel called The Paranorpals, where we explored haunted houses and places where evidence of the existence of an
Paranorpals.
afterlife has been reported. To be honest, we never found anything. The most we ever saw were things moving or strange voices, but nothing too real. Everything could be an act of our imagination or just a simple coincidence. After a while, all the cursed places
what's up with
started
these
to look the
pictures,
same.
man?
They were just abandoned houses or public places full of graffiti. The guys and I started to lose hope of finding ghosts and concentrated on making our YouTube channel look as real as possible, even fabricating some of the scares or adding fake psychophone sounds. Everything was going well until one day, we received an anonymous email from a viewer. The mail said that this abandoned house was the cause of the disappearance of more than 20 people, and was one of the most diabolical places in the country.
Listen, bro.
Searched the internet with my team. Not only did we see that the
Listen, bro. If any of you suckers, excuse my French, if any of you fellow Avengers ever email me, Trini Hulk, your boy, to go to any abandoned places, I'm blocking you. No, no, no. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. What they say on TikTok? I'm not doing it. Nope. Not I. I'll leave that to all you adventurers, not me. With that being said, back to the story.
house was real, but that no one had made videos about it. We packed our bags, and in just one day, we were there. We couldn't miss this
What you got,
opportunity.
the mystery van?
Wow. For a haunted house,
Scooby-Doo?
it is sure well kept. Derek may have said it, but Elsa and I were thinking exactly the same thing. The house was pretty much the same as when it was built, according to the Google photos. Just a little dirtier. The place was very big and in the middle of nowhere, almost 3 kilometers away by road from its neighbors. After taking some pictures of it from different angles, we decided to go inside. The front door was mysteriously open, but the place was abandoned.
Just like the last
It attracted
story.
our attention.
And y'all walked in
The
like
house
suckers.
was very dirty inside, full of dust and spider webs.
Hell
Other
no.
than that, it was in perfect condition.
Hell no. Boy, if I see them 3 knights up the top of them steps, I'm turning back around. Cause I don't know if them cats is gonna move. Hell no.
The furniture wasn't broken, and it hadn't been vandalized. The walls were painted a deep white that had turned to gray with dust. But there was no sign of any graffiti.
Are my eyes deceiving me? Finally, a haunted house where 12-year-olds haven't been painting the walls.
More respect to the 12-year-olds. They are basically our audience, I said with a joking tone. Hey, ghost of the haunted house. You guys are adults, right?
Hey, you bugging, bro.
Follow us on YouTube.
You bugging.
Derek shouted jokingly, and we all laughed.
Well, how are we gonna do this, guys?
You bugging.
I suggest we take some pictures
They gonna
and do some
follow
tests
you
here,
all right.
and then go to the first
Follow
floor.
you to your
It looks
death.
a little more creepy.
Till you a corpse.
Hey, Derek, remember what I told you in the van? If I put up a doll or move something around, pretend you didn't see anything. That way, people figure things out on their own, and we have a reason to stay in the house.
Whatever you say, you're royalty. We took some pictures and made up some scares. Everything was going as expected, and we decided to head to the first floor. But a noise stopped us. We turned around and saw a hooded figure, locking the door, turning around
Oh!
and looking at us.
Whoa!
No,
Ugh.
you can't go out, he said to
Ugh.
us in a mocking tone.
That's a dude?
Before we could react, 5
Yo,
men
that's a
were
dude?
behind us.
Oh,
One of them grabbed Elsa by the
sheesh.
neck and held her tightly,
Sheesh.
immobilizing her. 2 others grabbed my arms and threw me to the ground in a very professional manner. These people were not vandals. They knew what they were doing. Derek, in a panic, looked around for somewhere to run. He took a few steps to the
Hey, yo, you see how this dude was breathing? You see how this dude was breathing? Like, yo! All right, back to it.
side, but 2 of the people in robes stepped out from the shadows and grabbed him from behind. Who are you? Why are you doing this to us? I shouted in desperation. When we're here, none of us have
Yo, that's a
names.
tranny, bro.
Little ghost hunter.
That is a transsexual.
I'm sorry. I can't answer
Yo.
that question.
That is a spooky transsexual, bro. Let me tell you that. I know it. I know when I see one, bro.
Let go of me, you fucking asshole. Come
Ooh,
on, attack me one
language.
at a time. I'll kill you all and I'll shove the fucking hood up your asses.
Oh,
Derek shouted in desperation. Ignoring my friend's threat, the hooded man continued to talk to me. For your luck, Adam, I can answer you the second question.
Ooh,
He
he know
paused
your
to clear his
name.
throat and kept talking.
He knows your
The
name.
reason why we are doing this to you is that only you guys were stupid enough to come alone and unarmed to a house where people disappear. Seriously, how did this seem like a good idea to you?
We just wanted to entertain people.
Ah, I know. And we have a lot in common. We also have an audience to entertain.
What?
Enough talk. Let the show begin, guys. And as soon as he said this, one of the men pulled out a camera and began filming Derek.
Yo.
Meanwhile, another approached him with scissors in his hands.
What
Hey,
you gonna do with
what are
them
you doing,
scissors?
you sick fuck? Get away from
What
me!
you about to do with them
Let go of
scissors?
me now! I'll kill you all! Derek shouted, almost in tears.
What you about to do with them scissors?
Without paying attention to him, the man walked towards him and plunged the scissors in
Oh!
making
Oh!
with superhuman strength. Derek
Oh!
was no longer struggling to kill himself, so he was released.
Yo!
As he fell to the floor, the two people holding him
Yo, what
plunged
the-
their hands into his abdomen, pulling out all
What
the
the
organs
hell?
and throwing them away. I didn't know what was happening.
What the hell?
I turned and saw Elsa was about to vomit, but quickly, the man holding her acted and put a
Yo.
sock in her mouth. The camera
Ugh.
was on her now. She was trying her hardest to vomit with no success, as she choked on her own vomit. The man who had put the sock on her held her nose tightly. My friend's body began to swell, and her hands went up desperately back and forth, searching without luck for something to help her escape. Hey, what you're doing is rude. Poor Elsa can't breathe. Why don't you help her? As if following an order,
Yo.
the man took out a small
Nah.
knife and made a huge
Oh!
hole in her neck.
Oh!
Squirted blood and vomit.
Oh!
Elsa didn't fight anymore. Her eyes
Oh!
closed. Oh, Elsa. I'm sorry.
Yo!
Even if you don't believe me, I got attached to them too. Just like your little sister, Adam. What? What? I'll tell you how your adventure continues, Mr. Paranormal Investigator. He kept saying with a sarcastic tone. Now, you're going to go home and say that you were in a fight with your friends and they pulled you out of the van. You weren't here. Don't worry about the police. No one will bother you, and no one will ask you questions. We made sure of that. Who are you? From now on, you will never be alone, Adam. If you try to investigate us, go to the police or tell anyone about this. Your little sister, parents, aunts, uncles, even your pet, they all die.
Yo.
With that said, the hooded man opened the door, and the other two let me go. Terrified,
That's
I walked towards the exit,
crazy.
to the eyes of all these people who were just
Yo.
staring at me. Before I left, the one who was talking stopped me one more time. One last thing. You are also forbidden to leave your job as a ghost hunter. Our viewers are a bit morbid and they all agreed that they wanted to see you looking for your friends' ghosts. So, you already have an idea for your next video, he said, laughing. We will send you a video of today's show. After all, you are one of the protagonists. You will only get to see it once. If you try to record it or show it to anyone, we will know. Goodbye, Adam. If you ever find us on the deep web, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That's crazy.
After that, I just left and drove as far as I could, without looking back. A few weeks later, my YouTube channel mysteriously became much more successful. No matter how little effort I put into them, my videos went viral. I don't watch my own videos,
Yo.
because even though I've never managed to capture a ghost, my subscribers sometimes see strange people hiding, just watching me.
Yo. I ain't got nothing to say, man. I got nothing to say. To tell you the truth, people, there are really people like this out there. This is crazy. To the person to IMR Scary Tales. Yo, y'all got some really twisted minds to y'all plots, to y'all stories. But there's really psychos and sickos out there that does stuff like this. And the reason how I know and I have the knowledge of it is because I work in a psychiatric prison for the criminally insane. So I'm around murderers, child molesters, rapists, you name it, all the psychopaths, I deal with them. And it's crazy, man. But with that being said, my fellow Avengers, I'm your boy Trini Hulk. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the channel. Feel free to join the family and grow this channel by subscribing, liking, and commenting. What are you waiting for? Down below. Like, subscribe, comment. Let this channel grow. Let us spread out to the world. Now, with that being said, till next time, yes, sir.